Hey guys, Weep here. Welcome back to another video by VarietyMMOs. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 noob mistakes you want to avoid in pso2. So let's get straight into it. So the first mistake that I see people commonly making is not summoning your NPCs. So when you go into a party, you want to take 4 people with you because they will give you stat bonuses. As you can see here, tribers, you will get 40% tribers, which is 40% more gold, 40% more XP, and 40% more chance at item drop rate. So this is one of the main reasons that you want to join an actual party. But if for some reason that you can't get a party, you want to summon your NPCs in here. So you can summon your friends or your NPCs that you have met in game, or you can use the free ones over here for fun. So what you're going to want to do is go into here and you can accept 3 of them at once. Personally, I generally go classes that can boost me because the classes don't do a lot of damage, so they can give me more defense, more attack power, etc. Now, if we go back into status, you'll notice here that I have an extra 25% tribers now. And as I just mentioned, it's XP, gold, and item rate for nothing. Do note though, if you are in a party of 12, it does actually use up your character slots if you bring these people in with you. So just keep aware of that, because some people may get upset. Okay, so the second tip would be not using energy, which I'm kind of guilty of right now because of doing this video. So if you click start and go into your content information and go to gathering information and gathering stats, you'll see here your gathering. I would recommend looking at my gathering guide if you haven't looked at it already. So here is level 18 and level 19. But as you can see, the energy is 100, and right here it tells you how long until it's recovered. I would highly recommend always using your energy, as many people don't do this because you can either sell the materials or you can use them to create rings. Not only to create the rings, but you also need these rare items to get your rings from level 10 to level 20, which honestly it takes kind of an absurd amount of materials. So yeah, make sure you do that. Okay, so next up would be doing the story. So let's go out here and show you what I mean. So when you first get into the game, many people think, like many other MMOs, the way to start the game would be to do the story. Not exactly. So you can do the story when you first start if that's what you wish, but it's not something that I would recommend. So if you go over to the NPC here, when it loads in, you will be able to accept your story missions. So if you go to here and go to story mission, you'll see that you have episode 1, 2, and 3. Now, what you will know is when you go to accept a combat mission, not all missions, combat specific missions against things like bosses, you can pick a normal or a hard mode. When you do the hard mode of them, you get more titles, more, I believe you get more SG, and you also get more NPCs to use, as I just showed you a moment ago, in the ship. So you want to make sure that you do each of the quests on hard mode. But the problem with this is that honestly, the missions are quite difficult. So it's like, well, okay, how do I do these difficult missions on hard while I'm a new player and have a low level class? There is a trick to it. So the trick is to not do your story quest at first. So how you're going to do this is, I personally can't do this on this account because I messed it up, but you should be able to avoid this. So if you go into here and go to change class, you'll notice that you have a main class and a subclass. The levels on most of the quests, not all, some of them do not count towards this, but most of the quests count towards your mains level. So for example, if your main class is a level 30 fighter, but your subclass was a level 70 ranger, the level of the quest would be level 30. So you would be fighting a level 30 quest as a level 75 ranger. You won't get all the stats because the ranger as a sub. However, you wear the ranger's gun and you use the ranger's ability, so you're effectively playing a ranger that's a little bit weaker. But you're playing an effectively a 80% strength, level 75 on a level 30 quest. So you're going to stomp it, and you're going to get all of your extra materials because you did it the correct way. So that's the best way to do the storyline. Please do note, as I mentioned, some of the quests do not lower the level down to your main class's level, and those ones are difficult, but there's no real way to cheese those. You just have to do those. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, some people do party up, but some people do not. The reason I want to push this point home a second time is because a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at the idea of partying up. Partying up not only gives you the try boost bonus in here, but it also makes things like PCE bursts pop more often, so you get more rare mobs, more XP, more gold, more items, and everything else. It's really, really important to take a full party on all content that is not specifically solo. For example, don't try to level to 75 solo, because while it is possible and it is something I did to test for the videos, it is something that is strongly not recommended and is much slower and much more difficult than doing in a party content. If you're wondering what a PCE burst is, Elfin over here can teach you what a PCE burst is basically as soon as you get into the game. Okay, so number 6 would be not exploring this shop area. So I've had quite a few people that I have basically shown around the game, and what they commonly do is they come into this area and they're like, okay, this is the shop area. I see 2 shops, 2 shops. Okay, so these are all the shops in the game. No, please, I beg you, look around. So these shops, while they are important, the actual most important set of shops is actually located up here. Very important, and most people just fail to find this shop. Not only this, but if you click start and go into here, go down to the swap shop right here, you have another shop where you can trade items. It's actually quite an important part of the game if you're playing it a certain way. Not only this, but located over here, there's 2 more shops, which again, most people don't run into. So when you get into the game, really, please do look around. Otherwise, you're missing crucial parts of the game, which is quite painful for people to ask quite basic questions. For example, where is a shop when it's right there? Okay, so number 7 would be not sending your NPCs out in the house. So after you've done the auxiliary quest from Coffee, which I believe is at level 30, you will get the ability to send NPCs out in your house. So if you go to Franca's Cafe and grab missions, for example, collect missions, you will then go to your house and send out your NPC to collect these materials to fulfill these quests. Generally, I wouldn't do these because the XP and gold just isn't really worth it at a high level. But there are 2 things that you mainly do with this. One is that you can sell these materials in the market for profit. Or 2 is that they can be used to level up alts. So if you go over here and click on the NPC, this one won't talk to me because this one is from an alt. However, if it did talk to me, it would offer me to send away quests to go and collect materials. They have levels, they take gear, they even have classes. So there's actually quite a bit you can do with them. So make sure you do come in here and learn about them and send them out whenever you can. Okay, so number 8 would be wasting XP items. So quite a painful mistake that I and many other people made was we used XP boosts and stuff like that at like level 30 and level 40 to 50, thinking, hey, we need to level up fast. This is a mistake. So you're going to get a lot of XP boosts from dailies, from logging in, from your quest counter, from your titles over here. You're going to get them from a lot of different ways. However, leveling all of your classes to level 75, as I have here, takes quite a long time. And you're going to slow you down yourself quite considerably if you run out of XP boosts. And by XP boosts, I'm specifically talking about your try boost bonuses, not really the 75% XP ones because you can buy more, but all the extra ones and the item drop rate. It may seem like you have a lot at the beginning because you're given a lot, so you're like, oh, I have 20 of these, it doesn't matter if I use 5. It actually does matter, so don't use them. Make sure you sit on them until you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, so next up is not taking moon items. So this is incredibly frustrating as well. So when you go into the ship, you're able to buy items, for example, revive items for your teammates. I've seen countless times where you go into an emergency trial and people are lying all over the floor and there's only 1 or 2 people still up and they didn't bring moons, so they can't bring up the entire raid team, so you whack. Please, please take in revive items, because not only that situation, but what will happen is the people that have played before say for example, 2 people in the entire raid will have to revive so often that because nobody else does, that they'll run out of revives. So when everyone else dies, they literally can't get you up. So if you're not sure what you're doing in the raid and you're dying a lot, and you see other people dead on the ground, make sure that you use your moon item, which is your moon atomizer, because it'll save other people from using theirs, and they'll be able to use it at more, times when you're dead. The other thing would be, in the ship, would be drinking your potions. So, I believe it's this NPC over here. So you can either do it here or do it on the ship. And you can grab booster effects, which actually give you quite a few different things. For example, you get a PP up, or you get HP up, or you can even get more damage. It's actually quite nifty, so make sure that you grab these, because they really do help. You don't need them in every mission because the cost adds up, but it's definitely something that you should be doing quite regularly. Okay, so the last noob mistake is something that actually costs you real life money. So please do pay attention here. So I, and unfortunately many other people have run into this exact same mistake, is that if you click on the class consultant over here, you'll see here that you have swap skill trees. So you are able to get multiple skill trees per class. And you'll see here that you have, I personally have 2 for the summoner. And the way you read this is swap skill tree. So you would think, hey, so this would swap me from skill tree 1 to skill tree 2, for example, so you can use other abilities. But that's not actually what it does at all. It's a typo which for some reason hasn't been fixed. I don't know why when I report it directly to a GM, but this is actually a reset skill tree. So if you use this, you go into your class skill tree, it will take all of your points back out of the tree and let you do it again. So it's a way of resetting them. It won't actually change your skill trees, it'll reset. Big typo that has cost people, unfortunately, real life money when they had to buy these materials. So really do pay attention there and make sure that you don't make that mistake like we did. Okay, so that covers the 10 noob mistakes to avoid. Hopefully this 10 noob mistakes combined with 10 things I wish I knew videos will help you get a better start in PSO2. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.